Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Don't mind my appearance. It's been a rough couple of days. Okay, it's Friday, April 2nd. This is gonna be an update. Ouch, if I can sit like this. This is gonna be an update on the whole issue that I've been going on with since November. Oh, there, my ear popped. Hang on, I'm trying to pull this up because the technical words are medical terms. I don't remember the names offhand. Okay, let me just log into my chart. Okay. Where was it at? Was it under appointments? CT scan, that was February 26th. The win was MRI, January 14th. Okay. Okay. So, back in November, I started smelling this. Back in November, I started smelling this smell. I constantly smelled this burning smell in my nose. Oh my god, let me make it through a video. I was constantly smelling this burning smell in my nose. I was walking around smelling outlets. It smelled like someone either burned out a candle mixed with a melting plastic smell mixed with a paint fume type smell or an exhaust type smell. I don't know, it was a strange smell, and I would smell it no matter where I went. It got to the point where I actually called the fire department, had the fire department here because I thought that we had some kind of leak, that something was the house was gonna burn down in my sleep or something. Nobody else smelled. There were a few times that people were here and or Adri's Mom, I smell a smell, but it might have just been coincidental that there was some other smell at that time. Because, sorry. And the fire department, they said they smelled a air freshener type smell. So they were smelling smells too, air freshener type scents. I'm no, that's not what I smell. I'm you don't smell a burning smell. They went through with meters and everything. So this went on, this started in November. Holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the holidays, everything gets crazy. Jay and I were not on very good terms. I had high levels of stress. I was eating absolutely horribly. Probably worse than my diet's ever been. And those of you that watch my channel know my diet's pretty bad. So it went on. I had the landlord stopped over, he had come over. We were checking the furnace, looking for burnt wires in the furnace. I went every freaking route of what was going on. I'm okay, the last thing I can do is go see a doctor. I don't know what else is, because it got I would smell it in my car. So okay, am I really smelling it, or is it something on my clothes or in my hair? I would smell. We were on a walk at my mom's in her neighborhood outside, and I smelled it there. I smelled it in her house. It's it wasn't that I couldn't smell other things. That's all I smelled. I would smell other things, but then I could smell a candle, but then after a few seconds of smelling that candle, I would smell that burnt smell again. It literally had me to the point of I felt like I was going crazy. Nobody else could smell it. My mom, she's really sensitive to smells. She can't use certain air fresheners and cleaners and laundry soap and stuff because it gives her headaches. She's she's really sensitive to smells and scents. And she was here and she didn't smell it. I was pulling for straws, please just let somebody else smell this smell. And nobody did. I said, nobody smelled it. The fire department went through the whole entire house. It was midnight. They were going through the whole house with their meters. They were even in the attic, the basement, everywhere. So finally, all right, I'm just gonna go to the doctor because I don't know what else to do. I don't know. So I went to urgent care. In urgent care, they checked my nose, and he said he was almost certain that he saw a polyp in my nose, which he said that would cause it, or could cause the smells. But he said he needed to follow up with my doctor. Because he told me what it sounded. He said he's heard of it, but he's never seen anybody with it. It's called olfactory hallucinations, where people hallucinate that they see things. This whole thing is just crazy. I was hallucinating smells that weren't really there. I would smell these smells and be chasing them around, going crazy, smelling outlets and hiding the fire department for smells that weren't even there. I was hallucinating smells. I never knew this was a thing. he told me to follow up with my family doctor. Like, he said he'd heard of it, but he'd never seen a patient with it. But he said that a nasal polyp could cause it. So he said he had to see my family doctor. So I went and saw my family doctor. Actually, I didn't see my family doctor. It was December 15th. Hold on. So I went to urgent care December 14th. And that's when they said, because I got this one on for like almost a month. Okay. And feeling like, okay, enough's enough. Well, probably not really a month. It was sometime in November. I think towards the end, middle to end. It wasn't the beginning, so not quite a month. Anyways, December 14th, I went to urgent care. December 15th, I had a virtual appointment with my family doctor. And he said, you know, it says weird. He said, because normally you don't see nasal polyps by just looking in someone's nose. Like, you have to see, those are seen on like a scans. And he said it sounded like the same thing though. Olfactory hallucinations. Like, nobody else could smell the smell. The fire department was here. Like, all these things. So he referred me to an ENT, ear, nose, and throat specialist. So I saw the doctor on December 15th. The ENT couldn't get me in until January 13th. So I went and saw the doctor on January 13th. And when I was in that visit, okay, let me pull this up. What is it? What did I say? January 15th? January 13th. Let me see the view notes. I was telling the doctor about this at my appointment the other day, and he's like, you need, because then I ended up telling him that I had a check. I was like, you need to let people know, because there's other people that have this and don't get it checked out until it's too late. So, okay. But Angela is a 42-year-old female referred by her doctor for evaluation of dysosmia beginning approximately a month and a half ago. The patient states that she was in her usual state of health when she suddenly became convinced that she was smelling burning plastic or wax. The odor was distinct but could not be localized. She searched extensively through her house, convinced that there was something that was burning and might catch her house on fire. She looked exhaustively throughout the house, but realized she was smelling it outside the house, in her car, in other locations, and different circumstances. Before she got to the realization that this was a phantom smell, she had done extensive searching on the web, had multiple people involved in looking for the source of the odors, and even called the fire department, perhaps more than once, to look for the source within her house. Nothing was ever found. She likened the smell to wax or plastic burning. Like, yeah, when you blow out a candle, like that smell after you blow out a candle. She likened the smell to wax or plastic burning, but she has also sensed a similar odor, like from air conditioners, like when they're initially start off a long interval being shut down. Because sometimes it's almost like a coolant type smell. And I don't know if that's the right word. Like a chemical-y smell. She's never had this problem before. She has no history of head trauma or sinus infections or sinus headaches, sinus surgery, or polyps. She did go to urgent care center where the care provider thought he saw a polyp. She has not had any problems smelling regular odors, and they smell as they had previously. I've noticed the fact that she also started having double vision that she had to start to correct for a little more than a month prior to the onset of the dysosmia. Yeah, because I would be like where I'd have to kind of do one of these for my eyes to focus. Like driving in the car, I'd have to like kind of squint because it would get blurry and then like my vision would fix. In addition, she has had a history of dry eyes and eye straining back from high school. Because I have. Like I've had dry eyes, like my eyes would get the slightest thing. You guys have seen it in my videos. Like my eyes will get itchy and like I kind of get like mucusy stuff like build my. I've had that. It started in high school. Like I think it was like pretty much the night of my graduation party. I swear we were sitting out by a fire and that's when it started. I don't know. She has an extensive family history for cancers, but none specific history for neurogenetic cancers or nerve-related whatever that thing is. And then here he put on general physical exam, the patient is a pleasant, markedly emotional, alert, and cooperative young adult female who appears younger than her stated age. Woohoo, I look younger than my age. Her voice and her speech pattern are both within normal limits for her age. I heard no throat clearing, coughing, or inspiratory stridor. I don't know. She's capable of comfortable breathing through her nose with her mouth closed. On otoscopy, the patient's middle ear structures, tympanic membranes, ear canals, and something else were bilaterally within normal limits. Her eyes were abnormal for the presence of marked scleral show and exophthalmos. I can't say it. Exophthalmos bilaterally. She was capable of something gaze and could do smooth pursuit maneuvers without pathological nystagmus. She had marked scleral hyperemia injection. Her oral cavity and something were within normal limits, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so basically when I went to that first appointment, I'm not going to read this for all of them. That was like my first appointment with the specialist. So basically when I went in there, he said I was showing dysosmia, I think, is the smelling things. I'm pretty sure. And then the what the heck is it? How do you say that? Exophthalmos. Exophthalmos. It's basically your eyes bulging. So when I went in on Wednesday, just the other day, Wednesday, which was March 30th. Yeah, because today's the 2nd and today's Friday. So when I went in, he's like, okay, this is my 3rd time seeing him. And he's like, okay, he's like, now that everything has been, you know, I've had CT scans, I've had MRIs, like everything's been, he said, I want to tell you, he said, when you came in for your first appointment, I love this guy. I'm sad that I don't have to go back and see him. He's like, I was certain that you had a tumor. He said, because my eyes were bulging, the exophthalmos, whatever, and the scleral show, whatever. It's where, like, the scleral refers to the white parts of your eyes. So basically when your eyes are open, let me get in the mirror. When your eyes are open, like, your lid covers part of the top of your eye and part of the bottom of your eye, like when you're looking straight on, okay? I'm gonna look straight on at the lens. Mine, when I was looking straight on at him, like, you would see, I can't even do it. You would see like that, the whites of my eyes above and below my, what is that? That's the pupil. Is that the retina cornea? I don't know. The big part of your eyeball, whatever it is. I can't even think right now. So he could see that. That happens when your eyes are literally bulging due to pressure in your brain and in your eyes. It pushes on your eyes and your eyes literally come out of their socket. They're bulging out of their socket. So he said when he saw me that first time with the smell, and I was kind of all over the place and kind of nervous and jittery, and I had the bulging eyes, he said he was pretty much certain that I had a tumor. He said he went home that night and him and his family prayed for me because he was almost certain that I had a tumor. Which he didn't tell me that, like, until yesterday, probably because he didn't want me to freak out. So he's like the sweetest man ever. Like, sometimes you meet a doctor, it's like, okay, yeah, it's a good doctor. No, this doctor was just phenomenal. Like I said, I'm sad that I don't have to go see him again. So I saw him then, that day. That was January 13th. Then on January 14th, the very next day, I went in for my MRI. They did an MRI of my face, like my nasal sinuses, all that, and of my brain. So then the next time I went in, like, that didn't show anything. He said an MRI would show, like, even if I had a tumor that was like the size of a pin dot, it would pick it up because MRIs are so detailed. So there was nothing on there. So then I went back and saw him on January 26th. Okay, so after my MRI, like within a couple days of my MRI on January, when was it? No. Yeah, I saw him on the 13th. My MRI was on the 14th. And like within a couple days of having that MRI, I started the keto diet. So I went from being like all stressed out and being on just eating so crappy and so stressed out over the holidays. I had that appointment, had my MRI, and then I went on the keto diet. I'm like, okay, I'm going to change my diet completely. So I started the keto diet, so I was trying to stay below like 20 carbs. I had like cheat days here and there, but I was really good for like a few weeks on keto. And then I went back to see him on January 26th. So what is that? 2 weeks later? So I went back on that second appointment, and my eyes, he's like, it's amazing. He said, your eyes, he said, I couldn't ask for more perfect eyes right now. He's like, well, have you done anything? I said, actually, I said, since my MRI, I said, I've been, you know, I changed my diet. I've been on a keto diet. So I've been eating like really low carbs. You know, I've been drinking water. I've been trying to cut back on my caffeine because I was doing all that stuff for a couple weeks. And he noticed a difference in my eyes. He said, the fact that just in my diet change, the fact that that made my eyes go back to normal, that means that my lab work was all over because I got blood work done. He said that my levels of like sodium and just crappy stuff were so sky high in stress. There was like messing with everything, causing, well, we didn't figure all this out. Let me just continue on. So he said, my diet must have been really crazy, and I must have been having a lot of sodium for my body to actually retain sodium to cause pressure on my brain, which was making my eyes bulge. He said, because that's just, it's insane. But I wasn't really in the clear. He said there could still be lesions or other type of issues in my brain and nose that the MRI wouldn't show, so he ordered a CT scan. So when I went to that appointment, like after the MRI, we went for the appointment on January 26th. I was still smelling the burning smell. So my eyesight went back to normal, but I was still smelling that burning smell. So then I had the CT scan on February 26th. Oh yeah, because they couldn't get me in for like a month. So then on February 26th, I had the CT scan. And when I went in for the CT scan, I was still smelling, the burning smell during the, like when I went in for the CT scan. But my eyes were normal. So since then, I kind of got off of my keto diet, went back to eating kind of crappy. Not as crappy as before keto. Like I have, some days I eat really crappy, some days I eat really good, some days I'm kind of in between. So it wasn't all bad, but it wasn't all good either. So then, since my February 26th CT scan, I just went back to see him. I saw him on the 31st. I just went back to see him Wednesday on the 31st. So I went in on Wednesday and I told him, I said, you know, I said, it's weird because, well, he said, first of all, he said, your eyes still look good. He said, so whatever's going on, it's definitely good. He said, are you still smelling the smell? I said, no. I said, that's what's weird. I said, when I went in for the CT scan, I was still smelling it. I said, but here in the last few weeks, I said, I don't smell it anymore. I said, so I don't know if that's good or what. I said, I don't know if whatever was causing it has actually went away, or if I just told myself, okay, there's no smell, and just like kind of psyched myself out to not smell it because they told me that I was hallucinating these smells. Sorry, there's little pieces of ice in there that just choked me. He said, okay, he said, first of all, he said, the fact that you don't smell it, he's like, that's a very good thing. He said, the CT scan, he pulled it up, he went over every single detail with me on there, like from every angle, like everything, and there's nothing. He said, I said, I kind of read the report and it said something about there was something with my septum. And he said, yeah. He said, I think they were nitpicking and trying to find anything on there. He said, because he's never seen, I forget how many, 30, 40 years he's been doing his practice. But he said he's never seen a more straight septum. So like on the CT scan, I showed my septum was pretty much straight, but it kind of curved slightly and then went back in like to one spot. But he said he's never seen and will never see a straighter septum. So they were just, whatever they put in that report, they were just trying to find anything. There's no lesions, there's no nothing, there's nothing. So the dysosmia, however you say it, the smell is gone. My eyes have went back down. Like, they're not bulging. They went back in my head where they're supposed to be. Back in the sockets where they're supposed to be. So he said, stress, when you're under a lot of stress, which if you follow my channel, you know it's just been an up and down roller coaster. Trying to work things out. It's not going so well. Actually, literally today and yesterday, Jay has been here packing up the rest of his things and getting him out of here. We're done trying to fix things and work on things. It's done. Sorry. The last 2 days I've been having a flare up, probably due to stress because I haven't eaten anything bad. Sorry. I had faith, we all did, that things would work out, and I thought that things would change, like, we're working on things and working on our credit so we could eventually buy a house together and like have more space and start over with a house. And we picked out a new couch. It's actually been ordered. It was supposed to be here in a couple weeks, like, and then I had a flare up and I needed him to take charge of the kids so I could rest, and everything blew up. And then yeah, my appointment was Wednesday with the doctor. Wednesday night I started, because my stomach was hurting for a couple days. I didn't know if it was nerves because of the appointment or what, but then the said things have been rocky. I had to make him leave earlier this week because I'm like, I'm not having the anger and hate and just laziness and disrespect in my house. I'm like, if you can't change, you're gonna have to go. So he went and stayed at his parents' house the one night. So he'd been staying here because he was laid off. So he was staying here helping me out. We've had doctor's appointments and this and that. So he left and went to his parents. And then the next day he was here saying that that was stupid and that it was stupid sleeping in separate places, and he didn't want to do that ever again. And then here we are today. So he stayed here Tuesday night. Was it Tuesday night? Yeah, he stayed here Tuesday night because Wednesday I had my doctor's appointments and he had to be here in the morning to watch the kids. And then Wednesday evening my stomach started really hurting, so I got in bed at like 1:30 in the afternoon after I put the kids down for a nap. And then he went and picked up Adri for me. I was in bed from then until I just got up a little bit ago, and today's Friday. And in that 2 days with me being laid up, he's been packing his things. His parents, like, he has the kids at his parents' house with him, but he's been here packing things up for 2 days. So anyways, so apparently with this crap all started back around the holiday time when my diet was at its absolute worst. My stress level was just insane due to things with him and just due to things with the holiday time is stressful anyway. The pandemic, just everything. And he told me, he said, you know, he said, you can literally only push your body so far. He said, and that's what you were doing. He said, between the high amounts of caffeine, hold on, my battery's about, hold on. Okay. He said, between my high level of stress causes your brain to produce cortisol, which messes with your brain. He said, between that and my high amounts of sodium, my lack of sleep, my lack of water, my high amounts of caffeine, just everything was completely to an extreme. He said I was literally, had my body to the extreme point. Like I said, he thought for sure I had a tumor. He was convinced. He prayed for me. Him and his family prayed for me because he was 100% convinced that he was going to read my MRI and my CT scans and find a tumor. Because I was pushing my body. He said, let me just put it this way. He said, you had so much pressure built up in your brain that it was pushing on your eye sockets, causing your eyes to bulge. He said the next thing that would have happened would have been a seizure. He said, can you imagine driving your kids to school? He said, I'm not trying to be harsh. He said, but can you imagine driving your kids to school and having a seizure and crashing and killing you and your kids and possibly another vehicle? He's like, that's what I was to the point of. He said, I just want to put it in perspective for you. He said, you have to find a balance. So then when I went back for the second appointment, my eyes had fixed, but I was still smelling the smell. I had changed my diet, so I was actually drinking water. I had cut way back on the carbs, which in turn, like, I was cutting back on the sodium because I wasn't eating all the crappy fast food and junk food. So I was drinking more water, drinking less caffeine, eating less carbs and less crappy food. I was getting like a little bit more sleep, and my stress was easing up. So I was still smelling the smell. He said because I went to a whole nother extreme. So I went from extremely high amounts of the stuff to completely opposite and extreme other things. So the pressure was still there in my brain enough to cause the smell. It was still pushing on my olfactory, which is basically behind here. So he said that when you eat so much sodium, your body retains sodium and it messes with the sodium levels in your brain and causes pressure in your brain. Same with the cortisol. The stress levels, your body produces cortisol, it messes with your brain. Like every little thing, it doesn't just mess with like your bloodstream and your sleep pattern, it messes with your brain. So I went from having everything to one extreme, which was causing me to have the smell and the bulging eyes, to going to another extreme when I went to keto and just completely changed everything and went the total opposite direction with everything. And got rid of the eyes. It brought the pressure down some to get rid of the bulging eyes, but the smell was still there, so there's still pressure. So now, since my CT scan with, now that I'm not smelling the smell, he said, whatever I'm doing, I have finally found a balance. He said, which it has been, because it's been stressful here and there with Jay, but he's been around a lot more, so I've had somebody to keep an eye on the kids while they're working, because he was laid off for 2 weeks. Then he was on second shift for 2 weeks, and he was laid off another 2 weeks. And the weeks that he was laid off, he was here, like, kind of, not doing, like, everything that I would want him to do, but, like, if I was making dinner, he was in there with the kids, so I didn't have to be constantly checking on them while I'm trying to make dinner. Like, I had a little bit of help. I could just get up and get the girls to school, and Jax would just sleep, and he would just listen on the baby monitor for Jackson to wake up. So my stress had eased up a little bit, and he was helping with things like if I needed something from the store, he would stop at the store for me and do little things here and there. It's like he wasn't working, so he was basically just laying around hanging out. we were like watching movies together. I got on this kick of watching like Avenger movies, and we would like, that was our thing. The kids would get to bed and we would watch one of the Marvel movies. Like, oh my god. We'd have time outside with the kids. We would like all lit up and go do things. Like, things were really, for the most part, looking like they were going to get better. Like I said, sometimes having faith just causes you more pain in the end. So I guess just choose what you have faith in. So yeah, so my stress levels were balancing out too. So he told me whatever I've done lately, he said, I told him, I said, oh, I'm back to eating crap. I said, but not crap. I said, I don't sit there and binge on crappy food all day. I said, I'm not back up to as many diet news as I was in a day, but I'm not down to where I only want like 2 a day. I said, so I'm kind of in between. I said, I'm trying to choose my battles and not be stressed out about messes, because I'm learning what to stress about. Like, there's going to be messes. I have a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old. I'm home all day with them. The 2-year-old's here all day. The 4-year-old's here most of the day except for the 3 hours a day, 4 days a week she's at school. And like the doctor said, he said, my youngest, he said, we had, I forget how many kids they had, but he said, his youngest is still at home and 16. He said, I can't get him to keep his room clean. He said, I'm finding random food articles in there. I'm like, okay, that's what my daughter is at 9. I'm like, so he's like, it's normal. He said, you cannot stress about that. You cannot expect to have a spotless. He said, some people do, but it's not the normal. The normal is not to have a spotless, dishes caught up, laundry cup, everything all the time, especially when you're doing it by yourself. He said his mom was a single parent. He said he watched her struggle. He said, just know you're doing your best. I'm like, I'm trying to. I said, but it's just not fair when a dad gets to choose when they want to be a parent and when they just want to kind of be a bum and lay around and watch me do everything when they're laid off and not working either. Like, I said, so it is kind of stressful. So I told myself, I'm eating better some days and crappy some days, but apparently that works for me. So I need to not be, and you guys always tell me, you guys are always telling me, you know, I need to find time to, and I told him, I said, everybody tells me I need to find time for myself and time to relax. I said, but I can't. Jay is the only person that has or will take all 3 kids off my hands for me to get a break. And I say break, and somebody's like, oh my gosh, you need a break, you're a mom, that's what you chose to have kids. Okay, unless you've been in my position and had 3 single kids by yourself. Like I said, we moved into this house and 30 days later, their dad up and left with I had no income. We didn't go for child support until, that was in October. We didn't go for child support until the following March. And then the pandemic hit and he got laid off. So, trust me, I'm happy being a parent. I am grateful and blessed and thankful that I get to stay home with my kids. If that means pinching pennies sometimes to be able to do that, that's fine, because that is what I choose to do. I grew up with my mom working 2 jobs and going to college, okay? My dad wasn't in the picture. We were always with different babysitters. I don't even know how many babysitters we had. There were times my mom would pick us up from a babysitter at 1 in the morning and load us up and take us home and put us in our beds. We were asleep. If I don't have to have my kids go through that, if they can be with their mom taking care of them instead of multiple babysitters, I'm fine with it. That's more important to me than having a newer car or like a fancy house with all these bills that are sky high that I wouldn't be able to afford. And the doctor said, that's right. He said, that's what matters. He said, your kids and your family, he's like, that's what matters. He said, the fancy cars and that, he's like, that's not, at the end of the day, that's not what matters. I said, no. I said, and I realized that. I said, so many people give me so much crap for not working. I said, and like I told him, I said, but I have a 2-year-old that would need all day daycare. I have a 4-year-old that goes to preschool, but it's only 4 days a week and for 3 hours. So she needs taken to school and picked up. Her start time is a different time from Adri's. Adri goes to school. She has to be there at a certain time, get picked up at a certain time. I don't have family members and other people that can pick it up. I live in a different district, so I can't have them get on a bus to have them brought home. I don't live in a school district that in their school district. I don't want to stay in the city. I'm trying to move out of the city, so I'm not going to up and change them from their school to go to a school here temporarily when I don't want to be in this city. I want to move out of the city. So being able to have my side hustles, whether it's YouTube, Unique, selling things on Poshmark and on Facebook, if that's what works for me and I'm able to stay home and take care of my kids and be with my kids hands-on, that's not me being lazy. Like, so many people say that's not lazy. Taking care of your own kids is not lazy, okay? Yes, I get stressed out. Every mom does. And people say, yeah, well, I work and our house is still a mess. Yeah, I get that. Everybody's house is a mess. But when you're home 24/7 and your kids are always there, I mean, they're little, they're always playing something. There's always going to be stuff out. There's always going to be dishes to wash. There's always going to be mouths to feed. There's not an 8 to 10 hour frame where your house is empty, where nothing is being touched or messed with. And the doctor is like totally, he's like, yes, what you're doing works. If you can be home and take care of your kids, that's what matters, and that's what's going to matter to the kids. A lot of kids don't have childhood memories of their parents. My kids will. My kids will have all their childhood memories of being with their mom because they're with me all the time. Adria goes to my mom's a lot of times, like every weekend. My mom doesn't get Alex. She doesn't get Jack. She says she doesn't get Alex because Alex doesn't listen very well and because she's not potty trained. She just turned 4. I'm working on her being potty trained. We get up. I get her in a pull-up. She goes to school. She uses a potty at school. We come home. She eats lunch. I have her go potty, put on a pull-up. She takes a nap. I wake her from her nap and go straight out to the car to ride in the car for another 40 minutes to go get Adria and bring her back home. We get home. We're home for what? How many hours before it's time to do dinner and all that stuff. Potty training has been hard. Some days she's great about it. Other days she wants no part of it. And everybody has told me when a kid is ready, they'll do it. You cannot push them because until they're ready, they're not going to do it. Same with people changing. You can nag on them and nag on them, nag on them to be a better person. Do this, do that, do this for yourself. Try and better yourself until they want to do it. Or addicts. Until they want to stop, they're not going to stop. It doesn't matter what you do or say. You cannot make people be ready for something they're not ready for. And it's the same with freaking potty training. Some kids potty train early, some potty train late. It's all in the kid, okay? So I'm doing what I can. I'm trying to get everything situated and lined up. I'm trying to choose my battles. Like, okay, this room's going to be a mess this day because I can't clean it all. The living room's always going to have toys. I'm fine with it. It's just like when there's food wrappers and Jay's socks and his shoes and like his food wrappers and his cup and his trash that he would leave lay around. I'm like, I can't do it. So my diet, if I want to eat something crappy, I'm going to eat it. If I want to eat healthy for a day or 2 or a week, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to stress myself out and try and be and do what all these people want me to do. I'm one person. I'm what matters. My health is what matters. Knowing that I've let myself get so stressed and so pushed in every aspect of life with no sleep, chugging the caffeine to keep me going because I don't get sleep, and I'm running around with no help anywhere, and knowing that I've literally pushed myself to the point of almost having a seizure, which could have injured or killed me and my children. Like, yeah. So the doctor, I told him, I said, I've had a few people on my videos, because I told him, I said, and he told me at my second appointment, he said, have you ever seen the movie Mom's Night Out? And I'm like, no. He's like, that's your prescription. He said, I'm writing a prescription right now, and he put RX on a piece of paper and put on there Mom's Night Out or Mom's Day Out. I forget what he said, what it's called. I haven't seen it. That was at my second appointment. When I went back for this third one, like that morning, Wednesday morning, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, I never watched that freaking movie. So we go in there, and we're in the appointment, and he's like, you know, he's like, when you were here last, like, did I ever tell, because I was telling him what things I've changed and what things I'm trying to not stress about and choosing my battles, whether it's with my diet, my health, exercise, the messes, my kids, what I tolerate from them. Just, I'm choosing what to do each day because I can't do it all. Okay? I got it, guys. And he's like, he's like, did I tell you? He's like, you sound just like the mom in this movie. I'm like, you told me that last time. I said, Mom's Day Out or Mom's Out. He's like, yes. He's like, I told you about that? I said, yeah. I said, you told me I needed to watch it. I said, I forgot about it until today. I said, this morning I remembered, crap, I never watched that movie. He's like, yes. He's like, that movie, he's like, that is you. He's like, you need to watch that movie. He's like, it's on everything. It's on Netflix. It's everywhere. So I promised him that I will watch that movie. I told him, I said, you know, I said I have a YouTube channel. I said, and I've talked about this before. I said, people even comment and tell me, you know, you need to get a break, you need to do this and that. I said, and I also told him that people have commented and said that they've had a burning smell that kind of has come and gone like over the years. He's like, you really have a YouTube channel? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, how many followers do you have? I said, well, right now, I said, I just hit like 8,060 subscribers. He's like, really? There's that many people that follow you? Like, he was just so cool and interested in my channel. Like, I don't tell anybody about my channel. There's like a handful of people in my real life that know about it. Everything else is just people that find me on social media because I don't make it known anywhere in my personal life that I have a YouTube channel. So he was like so fascinated. But he's like, what's really interesting, he's like, that movie I told you about, he said the mom in that movie is a blogger. He said, and I had no idea that you did social media or had like a vlogging channel. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's really weird that here's this lady. So I need to watch this movie. If you've watched it, if you've got this far in the video, comment down below. What is it? Mom's Day Out, Mom's Night Out. Just comment down in the comment section and I'll know that you have made it this far. And tell me if you've seen it, like what you thought of it. And but he told me, he said, I need to make a video with my update because he said there are so many people out there. He said, I just had a person come in here today with similar issues. He said, I had to go over their MRI with them today and tell them that they had a tumor. He said, and I'm telling you, he said, I was so certain that that's what I was going to find on your results. He's like, so you are so lucky and so blessed. I told him, I said, when I had that first MRI, the thought of possibly having a tumor and knowing what that could lead to and then what that could lead to for my kids if something happened to me, I'm like, that put a lot of things into perspective. I said, so I've been really trying. Like I said, I've been trying with Jay. I've been trying with so many things, trying to just better our life in so many areas since that little wake-up call. And I just, everything is what it is. I can't control certain things no matter how bad I wish I could. So I need to focus on the things that I can control, and the things that are done, just let them be done because they're done for a reason. But yeah, and he told me, you know, it could be, and my one friend in my real life, because I'd posted on Facebook about just the smelling thing, and she messaged me, she actually has MS. And she said that she's been having a burning smell for a while, and she actually asked her neurologist, and her neurologist wasn't real concerned about it. And I was telling the doctor, he said, well, you might want to let her know. He said people with MS tend to try all these extreme things to help what they already have going on with MS. He said, so she could be drinking too much water, because even too much water can mess with the sodium and the pressure in your brain. He said she could be drinking too much water, or too less water, or changing her diet like in extreme ways and having high levels of stress that could be causing her to have that smell also. He said, so it's weird though, because the girl that I've known her since high school, and she always seemed like she had like bigger, like kind of bulgy eyes, like bug eyes. I mean, I don't mean in a bad way. She's really pretty. I think she's really pretty. But like the bigger, like bulgy eyes. And I wonder if she's had something going on for a long time, or I don't know, because like I said, she just recently messaged me about the smell, and she's had MS since she was younger. It's like, I wonder if anybody has checked anything like in her like facial structure or head to see if there's like pressure on certain things that would be causing the bulging eyes and the smell. Because last I knew, she said that her neurologist just wasn't real concerned about it. So I need to message her. But yeah, he told me there's a lot of people that have similar symptoms, and it could be just like extreme changes in their diet, or extreme levels of water, no water, high caffeine, high sodium, that just affect your brain and cause it to put pressure on certain areas of your body. So he said definitely do an updated video so people know. He said because some people put it off. If they would have spoke up and been seen sooner rather than later, they probably could have prevented things. Like he said, because an MRI would show a tumor the size of a pin dot, and if people put off these symptoms for so long till they finally get seen, they could have a really large size tumor, which could, you know, be the worst case scenario. So if you do have any of these issues, I mean, it's an MRI of your head and facial structure. He said my sinus cavity, he said he has never seen a cleaner sinus cavity than mine. He said you cannot find anything on there. So I don't have sinus issues. I don't have anything. So it's basically my diet. But so it just proves that eating crappy all the time is bad. Eating keto all the time was bad for my body. Everybody's body is different. So the eating in between, because people are like, you can't just eat keto for a week and then have a cheat day and eat a crappy day. Yeah, apparently you can, because that's what's better for me than doing something so extreme all the time. Like I said, this is for me personally, it's not the same for everybody, because not everybody that does keto has a burning smell, or everybody that eats crappy. And like Jay was saying, he's like, well, there's so many people that eat so worse than you and like so overweight and so heavy set. Why don't they have that burning smell? I'm like, well, I don't know, but they probably have heart issues and diabetes and high blood pressure and high cholesterol, all these other things that I don't have. I'm basically as healthy, like my body is physically as healthy as it can be, other than my stress and like diet, caffeine, sleep, water issues, which you guys know I've been trying to work on those. So yeah, there's nothing on the CT scan, nothing on the MRI. It's something that I can easily control. Oh, and when he put in the notes, before I left, I said, so I don't have to come back and see you? He said, well, no. He said, not unless you have any other issues, or if this comes back, or if you have any, you know, anything else that you really want to be seen for, you know, then you can come back. I said, well, that makes me sad. I said, I'm kind of sad I'm not going to see you again. I said, can I hug you? He said, you sure can. And he gave me like the biggest hug. And it wasn't like a little pat thing. He hugged me like my dad would hug me. Like, he hugged me. He was just like the sweetest guy. Sweet. I don't know. He was just so nice. But let's see my notes from March 31st. Come on. Estimated evaluations, dysosmia. MRI was performed on the evening of her initial thing. It was negative for any mass occupying lesions. She underwent a sinus CT scan as well to determine if she had any kind of soft tissue lesion of the cribriform plate or the high nasal vault that could cause her to have dysosmia, if not olfactory hallucinations. Both studies were entirely within normal limits. The patient is here today stating that she has not had the abnormal sense of wax burning for several weeks. This only occurred about 2 weeks ago when she realized she had not smelled this unusual smell for at least a week or so before since that time. She described herself as having gotten back on her crappy diet, drinking roughly 10 Diet Mountain Dews per day and very little other liquid. She attributes that to the frenetic pace of her life with 3 young children as a single mom. Because it keeps me going when I'm not getting much sleep. I pulled up her sinus CT scan and reviewed it with her. It was read as entirely normal. I showed her the regions of the olfactory epithelium and what it would take for some lesion, infection, or mass to produce problems with nasal ventilation, blah, 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 if it were due to become from a tumor or an infection. No such pathology was visible on her exam at all. This reassured her. I particularly emphasized her wide swings of liquid ingestion with the corresponding lab abnormalities of her osmolarity, as well as the state of ketosis she was in when the labs were taken. She may be on a ketone diet for part-time. All these factors may have been contributing to significant fluid and electrolyte shifts between her systematic circulation and her cerebral spinal fluid space. This may have been the mechanism of her exophthalmos and may additionally have contributed, if not, caused her dysosmia. Regardless, since it is resolved and so has the exophthalmos, I strongly recommend that she avoid dietary swings like those she was on prior to this beginning, since obviously it caused her to have significant problems that may have at some point injured her if she had not swung back to a more normal dietary process. She reported understanding this and recognizing that she does tend to binge on one liquid or dietary approach or another, but given that she has 3 young children to raise, she assured me she would be more careful moving forward, and I am confident that she will. She's free to follow up with me on an as-need basis for the future. I emphasized to her the details of what this means and what exophthalmos means and what to look for should that recur. And she is to evaluate her own diet to see if there's something that she is doing to the extreme that may be causing it. I would be happy to see her back for this problem or for a new ENT problem, whichever might arise. So yeah, stress and diet. So told me to control my stress and all this other stuff, and then the very next day their dad decides he's going to leave again, leave me with no help and no child support and anything again. Awesome timing. But anyway, it is what it is. I need to move on from it. I just told him he needs to get every little thing. Like, he has a couple big things that he can't get out of the base. I'm like, try and get him today or tomorrow when I'm gone with the kids, because tomorrow we have Easter egg hunt at my mom's. I'm like, I cannot watch you pack up and leave day after day after day. I'm like, so please just get it done. I've watched, well, not watched, I've heard. I couldn't even look at him. I would just, when he came in the same room as me, I like looked at his feet and then I got up and turned around and left there. I can't even look him in the face right now because I can't. He wasn't just like, he's been my best friend for 10 years. He's been my whatever. Now he's just my kid's dad. That's what it is. There's no moving on from this. Like, I've tried. April 8th, here in 6 days, would be our 10-year anniversary. I say he left October of 2019. He started coming back around in July of 2020. But here in like the last couple months, he's been around a whole lot just because of like the holidays, the kids' birthdays, all the things around the kids. So he's been around a lot lately. I'm just pissed that I let him get, that I got that close to him again, thinking that things would get better. And now here I am in the same situation with a shattered heart just like before, and I let it happen to myself again. I'm just mad. But it's fine. I'll move on. I did last time. So just watch him to pack up and load up day after day. It's already been 2 days. It's too much. Just hearing him, I laid in my bed because I'm having a flare up, and I'm just laid in my bed just hearing him all the trips up and down the stairs and out the door. It's too much. I was gonna get up and leave so I didn't have to hear it, but I couldn't. So yeah, that's my life update, health update, my smell update. I don't even know what the heck I'm gonna title this video. Sorry it was all over the place, but it's been a crazy couple days. So anybody that was pulling for us, you don't have to anymore, because it's done. So let's see, it's 5:14. I have so much to do. I have to go pick up the kids either tonight or first thing in the morning because he has church tomorrow. But thank you for watching. Thank you for the prayers. This video is so long. Oh my gosh. And I will see you in my next video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for the continued thoughts and prayers and checking in on me and seeing how my results went and how my doctor's appointments went. I've had so many of you check in when I don't update. That's why I wanted to update today. I'm not in the best position to update today, but I didn't want to put it off anymore. It's been crazy. Like, Allie broke her finger. She had her first surgery, dental surgery. She didn't come out of anesthesia well. She was vomiting. Like, it was just that same day. A tree fell and took out our lines. We had to pack up and leave just a couple hours after her having her very first surgery. And it's just been, it can stop anytime. But yeah, thank you so much for just being here. I'm sure someone's gonna give me crap for breaking down in tears in this video, but it is what it is. I don't know where you guys come from or what world you live in that you don't have emotion for anything, but sorry, I'm not like that. I have a huge heart. I love with everything I have, and I'm a sensitive person. And it's been a crazy couple months, especially while waiting for results of what's going on. And do I have a health condition? Do I need to worry? Like, so yeah, so now my next thing is schedule a surgery to get part of my intestine removed sometime in the summer when I don't need somebody to help me get the kids to and from school, so they can remove this part of my intestine so I don't have any more flare-ups, because it's just getting worse with age and it's happening. Like, it's probably stress this time, I'm guessing, because I don't know what else it would be. I've only ever had flare-ups due to eating any type of like nuts or popcorn or corn, and there have been a handful of times that I've eaten like a handful of nuts, like if I'm just gonna eat a handful of almonds, and if I drink plenty of water with it, it doesn't affect me whatsoever. So I'm pretty sure this episode is main cause was stress. And yeah, I'm gonna have so many videos to post after this one that actually happened before this, because I have like, I'm behind on videos. What's new? I might just choose which ones to not put in or combine some. I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is current and up to date. Like I said, today's April 2nd. I hope you all have a very good Easter. I need to get some cleaning done. I need to boil eggs. I got to pick up the kids. We have to color Easter eggs. Tomorrow's the Easter egg hunt at my mom's, and then the Easter bunny comes tomorrow night. I've got my hands full with a flare up and with no other parent here to help me. So this is all like spur of the moment. At bad timing, and it's okay. I'll push through. I always do. I have my weak moments, and I show my weak moments because I'm human. I don't act like everything is great and that it's a perfect day every day and that my house always, I don't do that, because that's not reality. And when I watch those, so many people say like when they watch those videos, and when I watch those videos, I feel inadequate and like less of a mom because I'm not making a homemade meal every single day, or because my kids like fish sticks and I'm not getting like some fresh fish and do. It is what it is. This is my life. This is how I live it. All I can do each day is try to be better than I was the day before, and try and be a stronger person than I was the day before, and teach my kids to be as strong as they can, and to not let other people's choices and opinions ruin their day. That's all we can do, right? So yeah, I thank you so much for watching. I am so sorry if you made for this being so long, but if you made it to the end, comment "you got this," and then I'll know that you stayed till the end. I love you guys so much. Thank you for the continued support and just reaching out, and the hugs and love and prayers and well wishes for me and my kids. No matter what it is, you guys are truly amazing. I love you more than you will ever know, more than I could ever explain, more than I could ever show. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.